quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
It stinks.
We want to welcome everybody to Boom Broadcasting's newest podcast, It Stinks, with yours truly, Shawn Lucas, as your host. We'll be looking at movies, TV shows, reality TV shows, and looking to see if they pass the old eyeball test to see if they're good for another sequel or another season, or if it's time to do like Jay from the 1990 show The Crit that used to air on Fox, the animated series. It will be like Jay and say, it stinks, and let's take it off. And if it stinks, we're going to say we don't want it to come back. We saw it, we're good with it, and we are moving on. But if we think it's good, we're going to continue to talk about it. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to Boom Broadcasting over the past week. So much content that you, yes, you, the fans, give yourself a round of applause for all the hard work you've done. Tune in to all our different content we put out. And we want to thank you for tuning in to the different shows, from the interview segment with my man Smitty Shannon, from the Nightcap with Mike, from Out of Pocket with Mike Davis, from Drop the Mike Wrestling Podcast, from the Wrestling Podcast that I'm going to be hosting on Saturday morning that you can start tuning in at 10 a.m. From everything up here in Boom Broadcasting. This was just week one. We have so much more stuff that we will be putting out to you, the fans, of all different contents. We got cooking shows. We got other shows coming in the background that haven't dropped yet. So thank you so much for making us a part of your daily cycle. Turn into Boom Broadcasting to watch the content that we are presenting to you guys. So with enough said, let's jump into a movie that dropped on July 4th that we can talk about. And I will warn everybody, spoiler alert, if you have not watched this movie on Netflix, none other than Beverly Hills Cop's Axel Foley, hit pause right now, stop the show, hit the pause button, and run into your nearest TV, your nearest tablet, however you watching this on Boom Broadcasting. You probably got the app for Netflix. Pause this, switch over to Netflix, watch Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. Then when it goes off, come right back here to It Stinks Podcast so that me and you, can have a personal one-on-one conversation of how I felt about it. And please, as always, drop your comments in the comment section to tell me how you thought about it, because what I may see, you didn't see. And what you may saw, I didn't see. And maybe if we can talk about it, we can figure out if it was good or if it's going to be the catchphrase, it stinks, and do not come back. So for no more further ado, let's jump right into it. Got to tell a little back-end story before we jump into the movie. You know, I love to give a history lecture. I was a history guy when I was an undergrad. Took all the history classes I could take as an undergrad before I had to start taking my majors over there at college. Growing up in the late 80s, yes, late 80s, early 90s, we had something. We didn't have Netflix. We didn't have Paramount Plus. We didn't have Hulu, Peacock, Amazon Prime, any streaming service that you watch to watch movies. Epix, MGM, didn't have none of that stuff. Either you went to the movie theater to see the movie, or you did like I did sometimes and waited till it came out on VHS. Raise your hand if you remember VHS. Boy, I'm telling my age right now to everybody. But during this time frame, we had a place where you could go rent movies. Now it's a T-Mobile store down here where I live at. But it used to be the video. Family video rental service. You go in, rent your movie, keep it for 3 days, 5 days. If you pay the extra $2.50, bring it back. If you don't rewind it, that's $1 fee on your account. Then when you come back to rent another video. And we also had Empire Video, which is now the stereo shop down here where I live at. So growing up, I got a chance to watch a lot of good movies, especially with Eddie Murphy, with my dad, because I wasn't old enough to rent these movies. But my dad was a big Eddie Murphy's fan. He watched everything. Boomerang, Trading Places, all the Beverly Hills Cops, the 48 Hours, everything that Eddie Murphy was in back in the 80s and 90s. My dad watched it. He was a big Eddie Murphy fan. Of course, he will watch it first before he lets me watch it, just to make sure that even though this little 10-year-old kid that wanted to watch Eddie Murphy and wanted to laugh all the time and watch this guy make me laugh, just to make sure it was not too adultish for me to see. So I got a chance to see more of the Beverly Hills Cops over the 48 hours. I remember watching 48 hours as I got a little older, about 13. We went and got 48 hours and we watched that with another 48 hours. Because that was a little bit, a little bit more rated R-ish than Beverly Hills Cops. Beverly Hills Cops was rated R, but not as bad as the 48 hours. 48 hours was, for a 10-year-old watching that would have been kind of rough. But, when you're 13, 14, you can watch 48 hours because your dad kind of says, okay, son, you're ready to see this one. It's not that bad. A little more foul language. Not that many adult scenes. Of course, adult scenes he would hit fast forward. But it was the comedy of what made me want to watch these movies. So when I saw this movie was coming straight to streaming and not to the movie theater, I got puzzled. And I said, why would Eddie Murphy send this to Netflix? Knowing Eddie Murphy has a good deal with Netflix, knowing that Netflix probably unloaded the bank to have this come to their streaming service and not the movie theater, unloaded the bank to Eddie Murphy, unloaded the bank to all the actors in, unloaded the bank to the production crew to produce this movie. But it made me wonder because I'm not afraid. Come on, we're family. We can talk. I'm not afraid to admit this, and I'm probably getting ready to get some comments in the comment box right now. I was not a fan of the Coming to America on Amazon Prime. I watched it because Coming to America #1 to me was an all-time classic. So Coming to America Part 2, I felt like if you're bringing all those characters back, this movie's going to be another classic. Good? Maybe. Could I watch it again? Well, if I'm at somebody's house and they want to put it on, yeah, I could suffer through it and watch it again. Would I go out right now, turn on the TV, hit play, and the first thing I'm looking for is Coming to America? Probably not. But this movie right here, I've seen it twice. I watched it on July 4th after I got back from the fireworks spectacular over here in my area. I watched it again today just to make sure I didn't miss nothing. And it was a good movie. Now, I've been seeing a lot of reviews on where a lot of people didn't like it. But I felt like, first of all, they did a good job with bringing all of the characters back. A lot of people forget Beverly Hills Cop #1 is the all-time out of the franchise. It will never be top. It set the tone for the other ones. It was filmed back in '84. Then they had Beverly Hills Cop 2 that was filmed in '87. That was another good one. It wasn't as good as one, but it was right on that, edge. One of the biggest things about 2 I didn't like was John Austin didn't play in that one because he had prior commitments to another movie, which he could not come shoot that movie. So they kind of had to kind of fade him out on that one a little bit. Then you had, no. It was, he played in 2. He didn't play in 3. I had it back, excuse me. Please forgive me. He played in 2, didn't play in 3. Then you had Beverly Hills Cops 3 that dropped in '94. And I remember when that one came in, my dad watched it, and I was like, ooh, Dad, this one right here, man, it was all right, but it wasn't the best one. I felt like that one was kind of, let's just do one to see how it does. And then we had a 30-some year break before the next one. I'm not a mathematician, so do the math and drop it in the comment box, please. But this movie right here, first of all, you got Eddie Murphy, who's, I think, how can he say, late 50s, maybe early 60s, playing an action movie. So, if you went into this movie thinking you were going to see a lot of action, you came with the wrong idea. Billy Rosewood, who's played by, I forgot who Rosewood played by, Judge Rennerhauer. He's up in age. Taggart, played by John Austin. He's up in age. So these guys couldn't give you the action like they did in 1 and 2. Billy definitely couldn't give you the action like he did in 1, 2, and 3. But they did a lot of things to combat for not having so many action scenes. There was some action scenes, but not as many as what we're used to in this franchise. But what I liked about the movie so much was you kept Axel the same. Why do we grow in love with this Axel Foley character that Eddie Murphy was playing? He was a street smart cop, loud talking, very arrogant, knew the law, and knew ways to how to finagle himself whenever he was in a jam. He could have put on an act and tell you, hey, I'm Charles Tucker from England and I'm here to visit somebody. And you saw that because even at the beginning at the hockey game, when you think he's there to watch his hockey game with his partner, with his with the Woodman, who was Detective Wood, you think, okay, he's at this game to watch the game. Now, when I saw it and saw him walk in, I said, okay, Axel, Beverly Hills Cop starting off at a hockey game. Something's definitely getting ready to go down to set up the plot to go to where he goes back to Beverly Hills. Well, I was wrong because it went down. It was a great action scene right there at the beginning, but it didn't set up the plot. The plot came after that to set him up to going back to Beverly Hills. Another thing I like about this movie was it gave a good tie-in back-end story to a part of 1, 2, and 3 that we want to wear. During 1, 2, and 3, we knew Axel had a family. They just was never mentioned on the show. It was always the detectives, Taggart, Rosewood, Billy Rosewood, Axel, and both chiefs. The chief of Detroit, and Chief Jeff of Detroit, and the chief of Beverly Hills. So they did good with telling the back-end story that he had a daughter, he had a family. The mafia was coming after him. So he did the most smartest thing he could do, told his wife and daughter to move to Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills, you'll be protected. I got friends there in the PD. They'll look out for you guys. And it gave a good story of we met his daughter, because that's the one that I didn't like about Coming to America too. We found out that he was Prince Hakeem and he had a child in New York, but it felt like it was just thrown at us. On this, the producer did a good job of giving the back-end story of why he's sitting in the Beverly Hills. He's sitting in the Beverly Hills to be protected so they would be away from the mafia that was looking for him for busting somebody. Good back-end story. That's a check mark in my book. Check mark. Also, you got that feel because when she talked to Billy and when she talked to Taggart, she always referred to them as uncle or either Rosewood, how Axel would. So it let you know that even though we never knew about them in Beverly Hills when he sent them there, it gave you that feeling like, okay, she's got some sentimental value with these guys because she's calling them uncle instead of by their first name, or Detective Billy or Chief Taggart. She's calling them uncle. So I thought they did good with that with the producing. Also, I thought they did good with bringing everybody back. And it's so rarely that when a movie's made in 94 and not shot again to 2024, that so many actors are either up in age or either have gone on and passed that you can't bring them back. The main core of people were still alive and still presently acting where they could bring them back. So this movie had a great storyline. Won't spoil the rest of it. Please go watch it. But I was very impressed with how they done it. A lot of people say they don't want to come back. I'm saying it does not stink. I'm saying they set up a good ending for another one. Now, I would say with the next one, if they do decide to do another one in this series, will be a good time to retire somebody off out of the core 3. Only thing I didn't like was that Rosewood did get captured. Billy got captured. And so the story was Axel's daughter is looking to protect this guy who's in jail, who she feels is innocent and was set up by a dirty cop. She's threatened her life. She calls Billy. Billy calls her dad. Axel's on the next flight. Billy supposed to pick Axel up, but Billy gets kidnapped. So now Axel's trying to solve this case with his estranged daughter that he doesn't have a relationship with, who they end up building one with. He's working with a guy who just got suspended, who ended up being her daughter's ex-boyfriend. So you got a storyline over there going. And also he's looking for Billy. Now, I did say I wish they would have had more scenes with Billy and Taggart and Axel together in the car. I just feel like when those three are in the car, it is comedy genius. They're feeding off each other. The lines are going good. You're going to laugh. The ending kind of was nostalgia. Finally getting that one scene where all three of them are just sitting in the car and Taggart says, don't do it. And Billy looks at Taggart and says, don't say that. You know I'm going to do it. Axel told me to do it. I'm going to do it. So don't even say don't do it. So I feel like that was a good scene right there for the nostalgia of the old fans like me who grew up watching all three of them to have that car scene, because that's always been the golden part of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise is the car scene conversations between those three. So I was very impressed with it. It doesn't stink. I would like to see another one. If they did do another one, I would like to see, of course, Axel can't die, but I would like to see Taggart probably retire off and keep Billy. And I think you could kind of do that because now Taggart's a chief. And I did like it in when he, instead of calling the chief, he called the Sarge, how they were doing the car. I thought that was a good playback to the old movies. But I think if you had Taggart maybe die off or get killed in action, something happens, Axel comes back, Taggart goes out to help Axel, gets killed in action, and now it's him and Billy going on with the franchise until Axel passes it down to my guy who played Axel's new partner, what was his name, Abbott, till you pass down to Detective Abbott to take over. So good movie. I was very impressed. Good job, Netflix. A lot of people said they didn't like it. I'm a fan of it. Drop your comments in the comment box on this one. Let me know how you feel. Let's talk about it. Let's get in the comment box. Let's share your thoughts. Tell me how you felt with the Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley on Netflix. Well, let's jump back one more time before we get ready to sign off. If you've been hiding under a tree and you've been looking for a new show to watch, I encourage you. You have a few days for July 18th. Run right now to Netflix. Netflix, the gift that keeps giving. I'm telling you, that's what they are right now. Run to Netflix. Search up the word Cobra Kai. If you grew up in the 80s like I did, you are a fan of the Karate Kid. And this show right here, for 5 seasons, has not disappointed not one episode. If you haven't watched the Karate Kid, run watch Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. Spend your Saturday watching all the Karate Kids. Then you get up Sunday morning, start on Cobra Kai Season 1 and go all the way to Season 5 and come back to me on July 18th and let's get started on this. Watch the trailer just dropped 2 days ago that Netflix dropped. But I'm going to kind of break this trailer down and then I'm going to encourage everybody, if you haven't seen Cobra Kai, to go watch it. If you've seen the Karate Kids, start with Season 1. If you have not seen the Karate Kids, you definitely want to go watch those because it goes, the storyline from all 3 follows and just feels its way through Cobra Kai. 2 seconds into the show, spoiler alert, if you have not seen it, it was all about his redemption, teaming up with all of his bullies from all 3 movies to adopt one style, beating the one person he couldn't beat, Terry Silver, who Terry Silver was everything that Danielson was. Billionaire, owned businesses, did karate, and getting past that to get Cobra Kai finally out of the valley. So if you jump right into the trailer, 2 seconds in, you see Sensei Terry Silver being carried out in handcuffs. Of course, like we said, Daniel was able to beat him, get the confession that he set up, that he was the one that assaulted the student Stingray, not Sensei John Kreese, that he set Sensei John Kreese up to take the fall for it so that he could manipulate his plan of spreading Cobra Kai to a national dojo all over America. So you see he's getting carried away in handcuffs. And I'm knowing Terry Silver, he's a billionaire. It's the final season. It's a 3-part final season spread over July 18th, November 2024, coming back November 2025. Between one of these 3 seasons, we will see Terry Silver back. I do not think that Sensei Terry Silver is just going away that easy in this series. After you see that, you go into the 5-second mark that you see that all the styles have coming together. Chosen from Karate Kid 2, Daniel's enemy. Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid 1, Daniel's enemy, have all come together to teach the kids Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai, what Chosen learned from Mr. Miyagi in Japan, what Johnny learned from Eagle Fang that he started adapting Cobra Kai into. So all of them are all on one page because they're preparing the kids to go fight in the tournament coming up that they've been invited to. So you get to see that right there. Also, you get to see a glimpse in 21 seconds of another sensei that we didn't see in that first shot. As we continue on, all the students on a new page. There's no more bullying, no more fighting in school, no more brawls. Everybody's working together. Everybody's on one page. We're singing Kumbaya. We're no longer enemies. We're all studying under one dojo. We're all one big happy family unit. Something's going to happen with that, guaranteed. It is not going to stay like that over the next 15 episodes. Then you come back to another shot. Students are all now at Miyagi's son dojo in the backyard of Mr. Miyagi's house, which is Daniel LaRusso's dojo. They're all there. You got Sam, All Valley tournament winner. You got Daniel's son, who's down taking Miyagi-Do, who did not want to have nothing to do with karate in season 1, season 2, season 3. Now he's getting involved. Season 4 still didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Now he's getting involved with it. Miguel, who won All Valley in the first season. You got Robbie, who won All Valley in the second season. Terry, who won All Valley in the fourth season. So all the All Valley winners there. It's also some recurring characters there. Edwin, he's kind of one of the ones who just always pops around with the braids. You got Demetrius. Demetrius was not a recurring. He's more of a second-tier main character. He's in about every other scene. Hawk, he's a main character. Hawk won the All Valley, so he's in there. So you got all of them there. And the one thing that caught me was Kenny's in this shot. And I really thought that Kenny, leaving season 5, would go on his own journey. Because in season 5, Kenny got involved in Cobra Kai because he was getting bullied by Daniel LaRusso's son. So then by the end of that season, he went from being the one getting bullied to bullying people. And Robbie saw what Cobra Kai was doing to Kenny, so he tried his best to wheel Kenny out. He tried to wheel Tori out, but Tori was so involved too deep with Cobra Kai that she couldn't get out. Kenny just went to Cobra Kai, and it was his way out. It gave him power. It gave him strength. It made him feel like that he was the big man on campus, and he became the bully to the ones that were bullying him. But I really think that knowing how good this show is, Kenny's not going to start episode 1 in Miyagi Dojo. It's going to be a build-up to get him there. I don't think he's just going to walk in day 1. I think they're good about telling a back-end story of getting someone to point B. So I think Kenny's going to go through something in episode 1, 2, maybe 3 before we see him finally cross over and come to Miyagi Dojo. Then you got to give a shout out, and then you see all the senseis once again all together. Johnny, Chosen, and Danielson, they're all together. Then at 21 seconds, you see that Demetrius is breaking a board. But if you don't see this good enough, and they did good with kind of blinding this scene, because your eyes are going to focus on Demetrius doing the board break. And I had to go back and watch it 4 times before I found it. It's not find it, found it. Let me talk proper English tonight on the It Stinks podcast. You see Sensei Mike Barnes, the bad boy from Cobra Kai, from Karate Kid 3, is back. A lot of people thought that Mike Barnes, the character who played Mike Barnes, would not be in this season, thinking that he ran his story in season 5 and that was it. So good to see that he's back involved with the final season of Cobra Kai. So things still are going good. They're preparing for the Saki tournament coming up, and things are going straight. And there's going to be some stuff going on. You got Devin Lee. She's sitting there, played by Hannah O'Brien. She came out in season 4 and 5. She really caught me season 4 and 5 because she warmed up to Johnny's style. All the other people didn't like the way that Johnny Lawrence, Sensei Lawrence, taught karate. She, being the president of the debate club, not wanting to lose, always wanting to be perfect, was the one who you would say, oh, she's not going to really buy into Johnny Lawrence's style, the way he teaches. Thought that he was training them to be the better way. So it's good to see that she's back in this season. You get some more shots right there. You get a picture of Daniel and Johnny talking again. Then you get a picture of Chosen reading the newspaper where it tells about John Kreese, and Terry Silver have been locked up for a karate scandal. Now, I really read this. I paused that scene and I read the entire newspaper, and pretty much all it was the same thing over and over. So please, I'm telling you, bear yourself the pain and burden of pausing at that mark to go read the newspaper, because I've done it, and it says nothing about what I thought it would. I really thought it would have said that Sensei John Kreese escaped from prison or was dead, because at the end of season 5, we know he faked his death so that he could escape from prison. So it didn't say nothing about that. That kind of made me wonder, do they want to tell that? Or is that a back-end story that they're trying to keep hidden that we'll find out in the last episode of season 5? So talking about John Kreese, seeing that in the newspaper, they go right to the 56-second point of the trailer. And who do we see in Japan training students in a forest, in the forest somewhere? You see Sensei Kim and Sensei Kreese. Sensei Kreese has faked his death. He's got to Japan. He's working with Sensei Kim. They have history together because you remember season 5, he was the one that invited Sensei Kim to come to America to watch his students fight in the All Valley. Of course, he was locked up, so Sensei Silver took over that meeting and wanted her to train his students because he wanted to make sure that his students won the All Valley so they could be invited to the Saki tournament. So things keep going on as it keeps building. I just feel like that Martin Cove, when he gives that sinister smile to that student, you're like, here we go, Karate Kid 1 all over again. And Martin Cove, hats off to this guy. For his age, he looked sinister playing the evil sensei in 1 and in 3. But now, since being in this series and aging, he looks more sinister, more diabolical. I just butchered that word. He just looks more and more sinister of like, this guy has got something up his sleeve, manipulative. He's going to find a way to win this tournament. He's going to find a way to reestablish Cobra Kai. You can just feel it. And now jumping back to the 2-second mark, it makes me wonder, with Terry Silver being a billionaire, is Terry Silver going to get out? I feel like no 15 episodes can go by that we do not see the most diabolical, sinister other character in Karate Kid franchise, Terry Silver, Sensei Silver. So I feel like something's going to happen with that he's going to get out, bail himself out, and him and Kreese are going to have a run-in somewhere. And I feel like he's going to be the one to bring Cobra Kai back to have Cobra Kai fight this tournament. Not maybe in the first 5, but the next 5 coming out in November, I think that's going to happen. So then it goes to let them know that they got to prepare for this tournament. So friends are going to have to fight friends. We're going to get another Miguel Robbie match. I think this will be like 3 or 4 that we got. We see that Devin Lee is now living with Sensei Johnny Lawrence. Kind of was amazing, strange also, that in one part she's going outside taking out the trash. And like I said, she really warmed up to Johnny. So I wonder if her parents didn't want to have her doing anything with this karate business and kicked her out. So now she's living with Johnny Lawrence. So we see that. You also can see some friction with Terry and Samantha. There's still some friction there. You also see at the 1:26 part that Kyler's back. And I didn't know that Kyler's going to be back. And this is why I said I believe Terry Silver is going to come back within the final episode of this season or the one in November, because in none of the scenes have you seen Kyler at Miyagi Dojo, and you didn't see him in Japan. So, questions I have to ask. Is he going to come back and be with Terry Silver? If Terry Silver gets out of jail, bring Cobra Kai back. Or has he gone to Japan over the summer to train with them and know that Sensei Kreese is over there? Kyler's the wild card because you know he's not going to Miyagi Dojo. He don't like none of them. He's been their bully since season 1, so you know he's not going to sideways and go over there. So then we're going to, and also you know there starts a brawl. It isn't a Cobra Kai season without a brawl somewhere in the season. So we see they're going to have a brawl at the mall. Also at the 1:40 mark, you see that there's a mystery box, and that's how they close out the trailer. You see that Daniel Chosen and Daniel's wife open up the floor and find a box, and they open the box. And Chosen told him, opening this box, you're going to learn some secrets that Mr. Miyagi did not want you to know. Are you sure we want to do this? They open the box, and it goes out. So it leaves you wondering what was in the box. So now with that being said, there's a Karate Kid movie coming out in 2025. It was supposed to come out in 2024, but due to the strike and stuff, that's why it got pushed back to May 2025. If the movie was done, then this would not allude to each other. But now they're coming out in 2025, it makes me wonder, have they rewrote the script to have Mr. Miyagi have a son that Daniel's going to end up training, for Daniel to gain something, to find out something about Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 that he didn't know? Because that was Daniel's personal trainer and his best friend. And he always expressed I wish Mr. Miyagi was still here. Of course, we know Mr. Miyagi cannot be in the series because he has passed. But that's what his presence. If you were still here, and they do good with always letting you know that he has genuinely passed by Daniel saying things like that. So I can't wait to see what's in the box. This episode drops on July 18th. So we'll be talking about every episode as they drop. Send out shows. Also, July 18th, I got Big Brother, so I got double duty that night right here on It Stinks. But we want to thank you for tuning in to Boom Broadcast. I personally want to thank you for tuning into the It Stinks TV show podcast on Boom Broadcast. Also, a whole lot more content coming out throughout the whole entire week, so definitely stay in touch. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, so every time we go live or a new episode is dropped on Boom Broadcasting, you get that notification and you can be the first one to run and watch it and leave comments in the comment box. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Shawn, and I'm signing off from It Stinks, and I will see you next week as we find another movie and another TV show to start reviewing. Don't forget, Cobra Kai, July 18th, Big Brother, July 18th, and we will see you then.